Imagine unlocking a power within you that actively redesigns your external world. Not metaphorically, but literally. And what if I told you that your inner state is not just a reflection of life, but an active causal force that shapes the very structure of the universe? Pause for a moment and feel, are you the cause or just the effect? In this gathering, we will demystify the misconception that the inner and outer worlds are separate realities. I will show you why positive thinking alone isn't enough, and how science and spirituality unite to prove that your consciousness is the supreme builder. Prepare to discover how your inner state literally reshapes matter and destiny. Welcome to our space of spirituality, self-knowledge, and the awakening of consciousness. Today, our journey leads us to investigate the deep, often overlooked mechanism by which consciousness directly influences the external world. We are going beyond ready-made formulas. We will understand how your biology and your reality respond to what you vibrate. As your guide on this path of personal development, I invite you to abandon the role of victim and take your place as a co-creator of your reality and of the universe itself. The universe doesn't listen to what you say. It responds to what you feel after every thought. But, to assume this place of co-creator, we must first tear away the veil of separation that our physical eyes insist on maintaining. Often, we walk through life believing that the world out there is something solid, fixed, and totally independent of what we feel here inside. This is perhaps the most common misconception of our existence. However, quantum mechanics has begun to whisper a different truth through the observer effect. The simple presence of our attention alters the behavior of particles. If matter, at its most fundamental level, responds to the gaze of consciousness, then the separation between you and the universe is a fundamental misinterpretation of reality. As Hermes Trismegistus taught, as above, so below. Your inner world and the outer world are two sides of the same coin. When you feel lonely or lost, the universe seems to reflect that desert. But this happens because you haven't yet realized that you are the very weaver of the fabric you walk upon. The awakening of consciousness begins when we stop seeing the world as an object and start seeing it as a mirror of our soul. Once we perceive that the universe is this living mirror, we understand that it is not enough to just look at it with hope. We must learn the language with which it speaks to us. There is a common trap in self-knowledge, believing that simply repeating motivational phrases will change your life. But positive thinking by itself is just a superficial frequency. The universe doesn't respond to what you think you want. It responds to what you feel you are. Our conscious attention actively participates in converting infinite possibilities into real probabilities. Imagine that your mind is the architect, but your emotion is the master builder. If the thought says, "I am prosperous," but the underlying feeling is one of scarcity and fear, the universe will read the frequency of fear, as it is the energy vibrating in your body. As Neville Goddard taught, the feeling is the secret. It is the union of thought with deep emotion that creates the quantum blueprint of your experience. You do not attract what you want. You manifest what you are emotionally synchronized with. This synchronization is not just an abstract concept of the mind. It is a real pulsation that travels through every fiber of your being, redesigning matter at every moment. Our intentions are not just abstractions. They are energetic frequencies that influence matter in a literal way. Studies on biofeedback and the influence of consciousness on physical systems show that the body and the environment respond to our internal harmony. There is a constant feedback loop. Our inner state shapes reality, and that reality, if we are not careful, reinforces our inner state. To break cycles of pain or stagnation, we must interrupt this outside-in loop. It is necessary to cultivate a state of being that precedes external change. Like a river that teaches flow without effort, we must learn to flow with our emotions without being slaves to them. When you alter your vibrational frequency through presence and silence, the fabric of reality begins to reorganize around you. Remember, your body listens to everything your soul whispers. If you whisper peace, biology and destiny respond with serenity. This serenity that is born in the silence of your chest does not end at your skin. It expands, connecting to invisible webs that unite all hearts and all times. In physics, quantum entanglement describes how two particles remain connected through space and time. Similarly, your consciousness is intrinsically linked to the totality of the cosmos. Your personal beliefs are not just opinions. They are the laws that govern your particular universe. Often, spontaneous healings or sudden shifts in destiny, what some call miracles, are actually radical shifts in the inner state that undo old entanglements of pain. By changing the narrative you tell yourself, you change your quantum model. You stop being a victim of chance and become a conscious co-creator. As Carl Jung suggests, by making the unconscious conscious, we stop calling fate bad luck and start guiding it. You are not alone on this walk. The universe listens to you when you learn to listen to yourself. And when we learn to hear ourselves, the big question stops being, why is this happening? And becomes, how can I walk in harmony with this flow in my daily awakening? How, then, do we practice this wisdom in everyday life? It is not about a spiritual performance, but a re-education of the soul. Cultivating an elevated inner state requires simple but constant tools: mindfulness to observe the thought, and gratitude to anchor the feeling. Contemplating nature, for example, helps us remember that life has its own rhythm. When practicing intentional visualization, don't just try to see what you want. Try to feel the texture of that reality as if it were already here. This is the fertile void, where the invisible becomes visible. Inner transformation does not happen in the noise, but in the inner silence. It is in silence that you recognize your innate ability to be the alchemist of your own life. By recognizing this alchemical power, we realize that the journey was never about reaching a destination, but about the constant harmony of our own inner light. On this journey, we have seen that your mind is the universe in miniature. You possess the power to restructure the fabric of existence through the harmony between what you think and what you feel. Before we close, I invite you to a small gesture. Place your hand over your heart. Feel the pulse of life within. Breathe in deeply and, as you exhale, let go of the need to control the external world. For a moment, just feel the gratitude for being. Let that feeling fill every cell of your body. And what if the reality you seek so hard to change out there was just waiting for you to recognize it and feel it first, in here? If these words touched something inside you, perhaps it is time to take one more step on this path of reconnecting with your inner truth. Subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications to continue receiving content that nourishes the soul with presence and authenticity. Share in the comments what resonated with your heart. Your story might be the mirror someone else needed to find. If you seek a safe harbor, know that our community is the sanctuary where fertile silence is shared and deepened. Enjoy the channel's posts. And to continue expanding this field of presence, we suggest the video pinned in the card. May it be a source of inspiration on your journey. Peace and light.